Matt Barthel here. Welcome to my channel. We're out here in my garage today. We are going to pause on some of our fire videos. We've had a lot of fun starting fires using multiple methods here in the past, different ways of building your fire. It's been a blast. We're going to shift gears here slightly. Fire's still involved, but we're going to talk about stoves. We're going to talk about stoves that you can take with when you go hiking and backpacking or just camping or whatever you want. If I'm out backpacking or camping, I would love to cook over an open fire. It's nice. But there's times when you're out hiking that you can't stop, set up a small fire, and go. Sometimes it's nice to pull that stove out of your backpack and fire it up, cook your lunch, cook your meal, and go. Or maybe you're somewhere where you're not allowed to have campfires, but you still want to be able to cook your food. So these are better alternatives to that. And I would recommend, even if your intention is to go out, build your own fire, cook your meals, to bring one of these stoves with you as a backup, just in case. Because maybe you have a problem getting the fire going, maybe it's really wet and rainy out. These are some really nice alternatives to cooking over a campfire. So we're going to pause here for a second, reposition the camera. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what I've got set up for us, and we're going to dive into each one of these kits individually and go over the pluses and minuses to each of them. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're going to start with my first stove here. This is an MSR white gas type stove. I think it's the Snow Peak model. I'm not 100% sure. I've had this stove for 10 years, a long time. This is a nice stove. It's an expensive stove. This is the kind of stove you want to take with you if you're going on a long trip, 5 days plus. But still, it's a really nice stove. Then we've got the Jetboil system. This obviously is a canister fuel. It is a fantastic little stove because you have cooking pot, your fuel, and your burner all in one. That's really nice. And we'll drill down to this one a little bit more. We have this one over here. Let's adjust the camera a little bit. This is an Esbit stove, small, collapsible. I'll tell you this, it's okay. I'm not thrilled about it. I've used it a couple times, but we'll play with it here today, and we'll see if I like it better. But that uses like a Trioxin or an Esbit cube for it, so that's a fuel tab type stove. And then what we've got, let's move the camera a little bit more. Just bear with me, guys. I'm my own cameraman. We've got two alcohol stoves here. This one was basically used to be a beer bottle that they inverted, and this is a really nice stove. The only thing I don't like about this, that's how big it is. It doesn't get any smaller, but it is still a really nice stove. Then I have another alcohol stove right here. This one I like because it's nice, small. That's the actual burner and stove. This you could still use. You could put an Esbit in there, so I could use a fuel tab of some sort in there and get going. These little legs here are made for like sticking in the ground to give you more stability. But this is a nice. This is my favorite alcohol stove. This is something I actually always have with me because it's so small and compact. Then I've got this stove over here, which is basically like a canteen stove, except for it's the British version, and it uses a fuel gel. You can see how dirty and gross it is in there. I don't know if I like this one either. It's a nice kit when it's all together, and you'll see the kit put all together when we drill into each one of these. But I haven't decided if I actually like it because it's a big kit. Then we've got my homemade wood stove. All it is a 10-pound coffee can with a billy can here that you just put your wood inside, or charcoal if you wanted to, and put your can on there and burn it. Obviously I don't take that backpacking. It was just a project that I did one day. I built one, but it does work really nice. But what I do want to use a stove like this for burning wood, I have got my stove in here, which I'm not putting together at the moment. When we drill down into it, you'll see it, but it compacts this small, and it is a little bit smaller than this when I put it all together. That's actually a really nice stove to have and I do keep this in my backpack whenever I go. So these two stoves, just because of how small they are, will go with me on every single trip. So I have a wood burning stove with me and an alcohol stove with me, and it doesn't take up very much space, and this is not that heavy. There's your brief overview of each of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one, we're going to set it up, light it up, and we'll talk about it. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, the first stove that we got here is this small compact Esbit stove. I guess it is kind of appealing because it is so small. I mean, that's as big as it is. I mean, it's tiny. It's a small little stove. It folds open, and you can actually store your Esbit cubes in there when you're not using it. But it just folds open like that. And you set the cube on the center there and light it. So I'm going to light this. Actually, we'll do it. We'll do it live. We'll pop the cube out. Grab the lighter. We're not going to get too crazy. We'll zoom in on that a little bit for you guys. Adjust the camera. My apologies. Sorry about that. So let's get it going. So that cube's lit. And we'll give it a minute for it to spread. But actually, what I do for this cook kit is I have this square aluminum pan here that I keep it in with my cube stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is we'll just let this burn for a few minutes, but you literally just put this on top there, and we'll come back a little bit. And you would boil your water in here. I mean, you can put a canteen cup on top. Oh, that's right. With a canteen cup, you gotta actually. This is hot, so not the right way to do this, guys. Just angle those in like that, and then you're good. It's not bad. Well, actually, let's throw some water in there. See if we can get a boil with one cube. I'm sure we can. So what I'll do actually is we'll have some fun with this. I'll pause the video. If we get a boil before this cube's out, we'll come back and take a peek at it. Otherwise, I'm just going to let this burn out. But I guess before I pause, let me talk about this a little bit more. It is nice. It is small. Its limitation is it uses a fuel tab of some sort, either Esbits or like a trioxin bar, and those aren't bad. I prefer to use those for like helping to start fires than to cook with. But I've had problems with these in the past, actually getting a good boil to go. But I think my problem is I've done them outside without a windscreen. I'm going to probably tell you that you're going to want a windscreen with these, because that will make your flame a lot more efficient. It won't be blowing off of it. It's actually doing a pretty good job. There's not a lot of water in here, so I didn't put a full cup of water in there. So we'll get a boil with this tab. But if we were outside, not in the garage, you would definitely want a windscreen around here to make it more efficient. It is nice and compact. That's a big thumbs up to me. Is it's small, it's compact, doesn't take up a lot of space. You can just toss that in your pack and run with it. So I would use this as like a backup type thing. I wouldn't use it as my primary, but it's not bad, and they're not that expensive. Just do a search for Esbit stoves, and I think I got this from like bepreparednow.com or something, and it wasn't. The price was right. It was just a couple bucks, so you kind of can't go wrong with that. So I'm going to let this burn out, and then we'll bring out the next stove. So we're going to pause for a few minutes, and we'll be back with another stove. Thanks very much. All right, here's my next stove that we're going to go over. Unfortunately, I don't have any fuel for it. I was looking around, thought I had some. I don't. This thing runs on white gas. I mean, I could use regular unleaded gasoline in here. I don't want to. I'd have to clean it then, because it doesn't do well with all the detergents and additives. This is the kind of stove you're going to take with you on a long, multiple, we're talking 5+ day trip. This is a 12-ounce canister of fuel that you can have in here. How this thing works is you actually pump it. You put pressure in here. The pressure causes the fuel to flow through this tube into the pan down here at the bottom. Let's see if I can zoom in and see that for you guys. This nice little pan down here, there's an actual wick that wicks it up into the burner up here, and you light it, and you do control the intensity of the flame with this. As long as there's pressure in the bottle, you get a nice, good, strong flame. This is a really great stove. This is a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones that I've got. It is a really nice stove, but again, this is one of those ones where, for its size and weight, this is for a long, extended hike. I have not used the stove in a long time. I haven't done anything more than 2 nights out in the woods in a long time, so I don't feel a need to have something like this. Another thing that's nice about this thing, this would be great for in the winter. This doesn't have the same problem that an alcohol stove would. So this would be something that if I were to do 2 nights out in the winter, I haven't done winter camping in quite some time, I would take this with. This would be the kind of stove that I would like to use out in the winter. It's a lot easier. It does still take a while for it to get hot and stuff like that, but because you're out in really cold weather. But this is much better than an alcohol stove. But when you talk about size and weight and how much you're going to use it, again, longer expeditions, longer trips versus your 1-2 night trips. So that's all I'm going to talk about for this one. I'm not going to go into great depth with it. When I get some fuel for it, we can do a more in-depth review on this because this is, I think this is worthy of probably its own little video on YouTube because it is such a great stove. But I did want to just do a quick mention of it, and we will get to our wood-burning stoves next. All right, be right back. Okay, the next stove that we're going to do is called the Honey Stove. This one is a compact wood-burning stove. You can actually use it to burn stuff other than wood. You can burn. You can actually put an alcohol burner inside of it if you want to, but I use it for burning wood. There's panels like this, and they all interlock together. And there's a base platform, and these slots are for this platform here, so I can put it at different heights. So I get a good frame, good at different heights. This is where you put your alcohol burner. If it fit in there, you can put it at different heights from the bottom to the top, depending on how close you want the flame to your pot. I'm not going to film myself putting this together. Honestly, this is a little bit of a challenge to put together. I'll take that challenge for the compactness of all this. I mean, that's the whole stove. So let me put it together. I'll show you guys what it looks like assembled, and then we'll put it out in the driveway, and we'll actually put some twigs in there and start a fire. So give me a minute.